May I see my screen?
G, you can see that.
Okay, great. Okay, all right, let's get started then. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanurmardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, morning, good evening, everyone. So let's get started with today's session. So we are on Shloka 4.27. After spending a good amount of time on 4.26, we start with 4.27 today. I'm going to recite this Shloka and then you're welcome to follow along. Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare Atma Sanyam Yogagno Juvati Jnana Deepite. Okay, we can take a few hands.
Radhe Radhe, Sam.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Sam.
Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma samyama yogagno juhvati gnana deepite.
Oh, nice.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Let's take that a minute.
Radhe. Yeah.
Radhe Radhe. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagno juvati jnana deepite.
Very nice, thank you.
Sam ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Samji.
Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atam sanyam yogam yuvati jnana deepate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, very nice, thank you.
Shri Ramya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagno jugvati gnana deepite. Thank you.
Thank you, very nice. Shri Ramya, take a few more hands.
Radhe Radhe.
If you can.
Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyam yognagno juvyati gnana deepate. Radhe
Nice.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. We'll take a couple of more hands and then we'll get into the discussion.
Riya ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Sarvanindriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagno jhuvati jnana deepite. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe. Last but not the least, Falguni ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yoganu juhati gnana deepate. Radhe Radhe.
Wonderful. So Pragi ji, okay. Real quick, one more hand and we'll freeze the hands then. Real quick, Pragi.
Yeah, thank you. Sarvani karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyam atma-sanyama yogagno juhavati jnana deepite.
Very nice, thank you. So let's get started. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying some inspired by knowledge offer the functions of all their senses and their life energy in the fire of the controlled mind. Now, inspired by knowledge. Okay, we are going to talk about knowledge today because we're talking about restraining the senses. And we spoke that bhakti, how it works on us. Like you pop in a pill and it does its trick. And today we are going to talk about knowledge and what is the entry point for people to even enter the mark of knowledge or the path of knowledge. And then the path of devotion, of course. See, this Bhagavad Gita that we are reading is basically, end game is to enable us to do the cosmic dance with Lord Krishna. Okay, right now we are doing our own dance, and dance of Maya. Finally, we have to do a cosmic dance, and cosmic dance is where he's the orchestrator, and the rhythm, the beat, everything is falling in place and serving the creation for which, you know, this whole creation basically has manifested or created by God himself. So today we'll talk about the path of knowledge, what is the entry criteria for it, and how does it compare against the path of bhakti. A little bit of that we'll touch upon that today, but it is going to be a very fascinating discussion. Let's get started. So as we always do, we start with our initial segment, which is the soul soup appetizer segment. Here we are talking about the series on that soul soup segment. It's a series on success, happiness, and fulfillment. And as part of that, yesterday we started off with attitude, right? What is the importance of attitude in our life? And then yesterday we spoke about why is it important to take responsibility for our emotions. Our emotions is solely our responsibility, not anybody else's responsibility. Now we are going to move forward and introduce another positive attitude tip 2. So that is tap into the internal resources we all possess, which is that of positivity, optimism, and hope. So on the contrary, we need to refrain from negativity, pessimism, and lack of hope, which is, you know, fear and other things. Now, how does that work? We all have these resources. We don't need to purchase it or get it from somewhere. We all have this. We just need to tap into that. And I'll tell you a story. Story of Thomas Alva Edison. Now, Thomas Alva Edison, when he was a little boy, he was a 5-year-old. Then his teacher called his mom one day and said that your Tommy, take him away because he's too dull to study. So his mom said, my Tommy is not stupid. I will teach him. And he started homeschooling him. Okay, his little Tommy. And he was an impoverished youth. And he used to earn living by selling candies on a train. That's what he used to do. And he had begun, and he, as the luck would have it, he started losing his hearing as well because of the scarlet fever that he experienced in his childhood. And the problem was further exacerbated when a teacher conductor hit him on his ear, making him partially deaf for a while. However, he happened to save a life of a 3-year-old, and his father, out of gratitude, he helped Thomas become a telegraph operator. And that turned out to be a turning point for Edison. And from there on, he launched his career as an inventor. And he went on to become one of the greatest inventors in the history of American history, or in the history of mankind, I would say. In fact, he had 1093 US patents in his name. And the tremendous impact his inventions has had. You know, the electric bulb that he is, if not for him, we would not have been able to see the way we are able to see each other right now. And it is said that when he was trying to invent that, he failed for 3,999 times. And somebody asked him, don't you feel discouraged? He said, I'm not disappointed, even though I failed. And he didn't say I have failed. I said, I'll tell you a lesson, teach you a lesson that will help you in the life. He said, I did not fail for 3,999 times. I simply eliminated 3,999 ways an electric bulb cannot be made. And he succeeded eventually, as we know, on the 4,000th attempt. But the point here is he was able to tap into the positivity, optimism, and hope, and that stood him in good stead. And there are tons of such examples in humanity where when we harness into this, we are able to make a good life out of it. So this is an internal resource for us to keep an attitude, positive attitude around life, right? So this is a bit of a pun intended picture, but this is the attitude we all need. Okay, no matter what life throws at you, like they say, when life throws lemons at you, make lemonade out of it. Or maybe this one as well, right? So you make choices. Your attitude and your emotion is your responsibility. Somebody may see it, as a hopeless situation, but somebody can pretty inventive and creative and still stay positive and do something about the situation that they are in. They say when do you dig deep into your pockets? When there is nothing, right? If you look at the example, I mean, these days Israel is in news, right? All for all the turmoil that is happening, some tragic stuff happened there. But look at that. They had nothing. They were, basically reduced to a small minority, and that too surrounded by all the hostile nations, and they had absolutely no resources. So when you are pushed to a corner, you are forced to dig deep, and that's what happens in our lives as well. And that is why, if you look at it technologically, they are one of the most advanced nations. In the desert, they are able to grow paddy, and their commando organization or their intelligence is one of the best in the world. They can carry out mid-air operations, hijacking operations, some of the amazing feats that they do. So the point here is, for some, when things start going bad, they break, and for some, it kicks in their resilience and brings out their best. So that is the key. So the key resources that we need to strive to harness into is positivity, optimism, and hope, and that'll serve us in good stead. That's another tip. Okay, and all of this is inspired from Swamiji's books. So we'll continue on this series. Now let's get into our Bhagavad Gita for today. Criteria for Gyan Marg. What is the entry criteria on the path of Gyan Yoga? Is everybody eligible for it? Is what we are going to talk about. Like, people say that we are on the path of Gyan Yoga. Some say we are on the path of Ashtang Yoga. And some people just do Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe. They say we are on the path of Bhakti Yoga. Now we'll try to understand the entry criteria for Gyan Yoga itself. Let's get started. So there are some yogis who follow the path of discrimination or Gyan Yoga and take the help of knowledge to withdraw their senses from the world. So they say that, okay, I'm going to withdraw my senses from the world. That is the way forward for me. Because neti, or the negation, is, or elimination, by contemplating that I'm not this body, I'm not this mind, I'm not this intellect. They eliminate all that through sufficient contemplation, and then finally reach a conclusion, that I am I, situated in I. Like Ramana Maharshi, you are situated in I, and you see I in pretty much everything in this entire creation. That is the path of Gyan Yoga. So, and then, while Hatha Yogis, as the name suggests, Hatha is like you get hung up on something, right? Stubborn. Hatha Yogis strive to restrain the senses with brute willpower. Gyan Yogis accomplish the same goal with the repeated practice of discrimination based on knowledge. Okay, so this is essentially the fundamentally how you approach your spirituality, Gyan Yoga and Hatha Yogas. We'll go a little deeper into that. Now, they engage in deep contemplation upon the illusory nature of the world and identity of self as distinct from body, mind, intellect, and ego. So they think that Maya, it's like a dream that you are in. The day you will wake up, the dream will dispel. So Gyanis say this world is mithya. Mithya means illusion. A Bhakt says this world is not mithya but asat. It is real. It is a veritable form of God, but it is temporary. So there's a bit of a difference there as well. Anyways, and then the senses, they withdraw from the world, and mind is engaged in meditation upon the self. So when I say self, then they consider self as the ultimate reality. Self as the ultimate reality. And if you look at some of the Brahma Vakyas of Gyani, they say Tattvamasi, I am that. Chandogya Upanishad, and Aham Brahmasmi, I am the supreme entity. This is in Bridhyaranyak Upanishad. So these are some of the Brahma Vakyas of Gyanis. Now, of course, they are coming from scriptures. Then you will say, what's the problem if they say that? Absolutely nothing. But the point is, our scriptures talk about our relationship with God as a bheda bhed sambandh. Bheda bhed sambandh. Bheda bhed sambandh means, bhed means there is difference, abhed means there is similarity. We have similarity and yet we have a difference. It's like sun rays, sun, and surface of sun. All are synonymous with sun. When sun rays come into our bedroom, we take our curtains off, we say sun has come. It's not sun which has come, it is sun rays which have come. So Bheda Bhed Sambandh means there are certain similarities and there are certain differences, and they focus on the similarity aspect of it. In it, technically, if you taste your, let's say you taste a drop of an ocean, and you say, I am that. Of course, we are that. We are part of that actually. When you taste yourself or taste the drop of an ocean, you don't need to taste the entire ocean. It is still salty. There's no difference. However, there is still a difference in the sense that knowing a drop of an ocean, you cannot know the expanse and the depth of the ocean. And at the same time, you can't row a boat in the ocean. So there are differences as well. So these are the Brahma Vakyas they use. We'll talk about these as well. Now, Srimad Bhagavatam, it states, success in the practice of Gyan Yoga is only possible for those who are at an advanced stage of renunciation. If you are in the advanced stage of renunciation, then you are in a conception that I am not this body, I am the soul, then the ABC of Gyan Yoga starts. And in Kali Yuga, factually speaking, it's next to impossible to achieve that. Okay, there are people who can achieve that, but it is something which is like very, very difficult to achieve. So most of the Gyan Yogi, the path, they are not even eligible for it, to be honest. If they're not in the advanced stage of renunciation, our scriptures are telling us. This is a bona fide path, of course, but more relevant in some other eras, maybe Satyuga and other eras. But if you talk about in Kali Yuga, Harinam Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma. Because we don't have the capability to carry out austerities or intellectual capacity to contemplate hard enough to even understand that. So there's another process which is given to us, much more simpler, and takes us closer to the God, and factually enables us to understand God in its entirety, not even partially. So the Gyan Yoga, it still does not give you the complete realization of God, because you merge with God. You are bereft of serving God at that point as well. So let's continue on this topic and understand the entry criteria. So here's a gate. You need to get into the gate, right? So what is the entry criteria for Gyan Yoga? Let's understand that. So this is actually 2 V's. What are those 2 V's? Vivek, discrimination. You should have that ability to discriminate. And it is a deliberate, continuous intellectual effort to distinguish between the real and the unreal, the permanent and the temporary, and the self and not self. That's discrimination. You should have it solidified in your intellect. Our soul, it's permanent. We are not going anywhere. This body is temporary. So that discrimination or that differentiation, that knowledge should be in the back of our mind all the times. Okay, so that is first is that Vivek has to be there. And then the second V that we are going to talk about is Vairagya, the detachment. Cultivating non-attachment or indifference towards the temporal objects of worldly possessions and the ego and the mind. It's only when the mind is absolutely free from the attachment of all sorts that true knowledge begins to dawn. Swami Shivanand had said, he's from Gyan Marg anyways. So you need to be in an advanced stage of renunciation, advanced stage of detachment. Then only you are eligible for Gyan Marg. Otherwise, you're just fooling around with yourself. Yesterday I spoke about, if you are in the advanced stage of detachment, then Gyan Marg is the way to go. If you are overly indulged in this world, excessively involved in this world, then Karam Kand, Varnashram Dharam, etc., which our scriptures talk about, is the way to go, because that helps you tame your mind and senses and align, start understanding the higher principles. Like I am in Brahmacharya, now I'm a Grihasthi, now I'm in Varnashram Dharam, and now I should be preparing for the last one, which is the sannyas, right? So those are given to people who are excessively involved in this world. Friends, family, relatives, and all that stuff. So at least start bringing in some discipline by putting some traffic lights to your life in form of what are the mandates from the scriptural standpoint. If you're in advanced stage, this is Gyan Marg. If you are like 50-50, mix of both, you are attached to the world, you like to do things, you're not completely detached from your relationships around, and you're not carrying that complete conception that I am a soul. You kind of understand it, and at the same time you have a bit of a detachment. You understand the big picture. There is divinity. I have some kind of a relationship with it. It's good to go to God, at least to ask for things and things like that. If you're a mix of that, then bhakti is the way to go. That is the beauty of the path of bhakti. So let's continue discussion on, and plus you need to have Shat Sampatti. That are the 6 mental practices to stabilize the mind and emotions and to see beyond the illusions. What is the Shat Sampatti that it talks about? Tranquility, calmness of the mind is the ability to keep the mind peaceful through moderating its reaction to external stimuli. Then dumb, restraint, control of senses. So control of senses should be there. Tranquility, calmness should be there. All that stuff should be there. For these instruments should be, you should be in the advanced stage of practicing these instruments. Shamdam, there are 4 more. I'll probably introduce it later in the session. But these are the practices that you should be in the advanced stage of doing these. You should be an advanced sadhak on these aspects for you to even harbor any ambitions of being a Gyan Yogi. This is how it works. The ABC of Gyan Yoga starts when you are in the advanced stage of some of these concepts that we are introducing here today. Now let me get to the interesting slide that we are going to have a majority of our discussion today on. Okay, this is a very important slide and a very interesting one too. Now, knowledge. Right, we need knowledge. Of course, you cannot undermine the relevance or importance of knowledge in our life. It all starts with knowledge. Even the Brahma Sutra, the very first verse says, Athato Brahma Jikyasa. Now you shall inquire, who are you? Gain knowledge, spiritual knowledge. That is a very clear injunction from Vedavyas as well. So knowledge is very important. And the bona fide knowledge or proper knowledge, if you have a foundation of that, then 50% of the battle is won. Because 50% is theory and 50% is, of course, that implementation part of it. So it all starts with right knowledge. It's very, very important. So you cannot undermine the significance of knowledge. Now, with knowledge comes the peak of knowledge. You need the peak of knowledge. What happens then? Right? It ends in wisdom. Practical knowledge, realized knowledge. Right? They say Gyan ki had hai samajh. So you gain wisdom. It's not a mere information at this point. So it's a mere information. It's like in big data, they say, right, you gather data from all the sources. It is just a scattered pieces of information, nothing more than that. But when you start building patterns out of it, and when you start building trends out of it, now it is meaningful information. You do something with it. Similarly, wisdom is something where you are able to take that knowledge and put it into practice and utilize it when the need arises. So the peak of knowledge is in actually acquiring wisdom or realized knowledge. That is the difference between Gyan and Vigyan, between theory and the practical aspect of it. And when you reach the peak of wisdom, you understand it's all love, and prem is all you need to understand. Okay, this is a beautiful concept, right? And then samajh ki had hai prem. Gyan ki had hai samajh, samajh ki had hai prem. End of the day, you just have to understand that this whole creation, when you simply learn to selflessly love and serve, then you have started aligning to the purpose of this whole thing, right? That is all it is. Kabir ji has beautiful doha, right, where he said that pothi pad pad jagmua pandit bhay na koi, dhai akshar prem ke pade so pandit hoye. And what happens after that? What after happen? You see this bird, the bird starts flying. Okay, there is no peak after that. What is this bird? This bird is called the bird of bhakti. Okay, this keeps flying and there is no Purnima in bhakti after that. There is no peak in bhakti. Okay, so this is how it works. So you need knowledge. People ask what is important. Knowledge is important or bhakti is important. Both are important. It's like a bullock cart. This is how you plow the fields, right? So when you acquire knowledge, it leads to bhakti. It will lead to devotion, right? Like in Ramayana, it says, Jane binu hoy na partiti, binu partiti na hoy priti. So jane means with knowledge, you develop faith. And through that, it leads to devotion and love, of course. So knowledge, little bit of knowledge, little bit of love. You have understood the value of something. And now automatically the love will come. There was a guy who fell sick, and not fell sick, but he met with an accident. A rich guy, a guy who had come from a city. So he was going through a rural area and he met with an accident and he blanked out. When he blanked out, he opened up his eyes in a hospital and he was surrounded by his family. Right. So he was looking at them, and then people were, a little concerned around him, and he was like, you can imagine how a person is who has just met with an accident is recovering right now. So he was looking at each one of his family members, and then he saw a very rustic guy standing there as well. So he had absolutely no emotion for him. He was wondering, okay, I see my family members. He had a feeling, love towards them. Oh my God, what has happened to me, and kind of a thing, right? He was expecting care from them and everything, but there was a rustic guy who was standing right there, and he could not relate to him. He's like, why is he standing here? Until somebody told him, when you met with an accident, and he was the guy who brought you to this hospital. If not for him, you might not even have been saved. Now, all of a sudden, that knowledge, when it dawned upon him, he started feeling something for that guy. He said he not only brought you here, but also found the doctor and got you admitted, and figure out a way to get you admitted. And then his love swelled even more. He said, and then after that you needed a blood, and he gave you his blood, and that helped you save your life in time. And all of a sudden his heart felt a lot of emotion for that guy. So something you were completely neutral towards, or maybe disinterested, what made you interested? The knowledge. So same thing, our scriptures, Bhagavad Gita tells us, we are trying to revive our forgotten relationship with God, and the knowledge would lead us to bhakti. And then what happens when you get bhakti? Because it's a cleansing process from within, because the layers of ignorance are getting removed, that will lead to more knowledge. Now you don't have to read scriptures, it will start getting revealed from within, because we are Ansh of God, Satchit Anand. So knowledge is a fountain of knowledge, and bliss is residing within us. So bhakti will lead to more knowledge. And then with more knowledge will come more bhakti. And then with more bhakti will come more knowledge. So both become mutually reinforcing. Until finally there is a Purnima in knowledge, because now there is nothing more to be understood. And then it's bhakti alone. And after that, there is no end to bhakti, because the competition between Bhakt and God goes on forever. Right? Gopis, Mirabai, they were not even literate. Guru Nanak Dev, they were Kabirji, they were not educated, but they had all the scriptural understanding. Why? Because the knowledge was revealed to them from within. Gopis, when Uddhav went to them, he was giving them all the gyan, that the Brahman is all pervading and you should be just meditating, and what is it, this Krishna Krishna you keep on doing. He said, Mr. Uddhav, first of all, the Vedic Rijas are us. We are the Vedic Rijas whom you are referring to. Bibliographical references you are giving from the Vedas, we are the Rijas. Because a lot of gopis were the personified form of the Rijas only. And some gopis were Jivatma, some were Nitya Siddh, gopis who had descended along with Krishna to sweeten his pastime. So he said, what are you talking about? And secondly, what you're talking about, you're talking about taking our mind. Our mind is already stolen by Krishna. How can we take it to some other place? So what are you talking about? So those are the sweet pastimes a Bhakt and God carries out after that, even after God realization, and there is no end to that. And knowledge is anyway a byproduct of bhakti. We will talk more about, like we spoke about the entry criteria for knowledge today. Tomorrow we'll talk more about the entry criteria for the path of bhakti as well. But this is how it unfolds. Knowledge, bhakti, both are important until you reach a stage, and then there is only bhakti. You don't even need knowledge. So there are a lot of people who come in, they say we don't need to get into the scripture and all that. They have already done all these understandings, and whatever dispassion and detachment, vairagya was needed, or whatever lessons they need to learn to solidify their faith in God. If they have cracked that lesson in the past, then when they come, they don't need to read scriptures. They just feel connected with God. It's such a blessing. Right? When I used to look at my grandmother and even my mother for that matter, they would just have faith, and I would question. I would try to intellectualize this and have a rational, logical conversation, and they'll say, okay, that we don't know, but we do want to do that. And I would say it's all blind faith. But now I understand, for you to actually get to that stage, they must have done something great in the past. However, it is important to have knowledge also along with faith, because then you have intelligent faith. And then nobody can actually shake you from that foundation. If you simply have bhakti, they say bhakti without knowledge is blind, and knowledge without bhakti is lame. So you need both until you reach a stage where you don't need any more knowledge. Now you've understood what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis, and you just focus on that. So the sooner we reach that stage, the better it is. So as soon as, the point here is the aspect of, see, when you develop faith and devotion is what? Basically loving God. Deepening that feeling that we need to love and surrender to God. And if that thing is growing, whichever practice you are doing is truly helping you, right? There was another statement from Chapai from Ramayana, which says yog kuyog gyan agyana jeh nahi ram prem pardhana. So that yog is kuyog, that gyan is agyan, if the love for God is not present in that. So that is the key here. Any questions so far on what we have discussed before we take up a few more questions around it? Yes. Yes, Sandhya, go ahead.
Samji from Chicago is saying the bird will get tired. It's flying for so long.
The bird doesn't get tired. That is the point, right? The bhakt never loses interest. It's like it keeps on becoming, like they say, bhakti mein purnima nahi hoti. It never, it's like, it's ever fresh, ever increasing, and ever blissful. That is the beauty of bhakti. But yeah, if you are getting tired looking at it, I can change the slide.
No, I personally love it. This is a beautiful slide, and thank you
You
for
grow
explaining.
wings. End of the day, you grow wings. After that mountain, the peak you reach, there's nothing more to be achieved. Now you fly high with bhakti and devotion, like gopis do. And have you heard about any Jnani who has been able to merge into a deity? Mirabai did, even though she was not a Karam Chaturvedi or anything of that sort. So that is the power of bhakti. Yes, Shwetaji, you had a question?
Radhe Radhe Nitinji, Radhe Radhe everybody. I had a question. Maharajji always emphasize on practice. So there is no practice component in Gyan Marga or Yoga Marga?
It is practice would be, you reach the peak of basically knowledge. The wisdom is through practice only, right? Knowledge, it's not just the contemplation, but you have to implement that as well. So whatever little piece of knowledge we have understood, we have to implement. Like we were speaking about Karam Yoga, or we are talking about other scriptural principles that we need to imbibe in our life. Until we have practiced it, then it is a mere information in our head. It will become wisdom only when we have practiced it. So practice goes without saying. Yeah, maybe I can.
So wisdom plus practice, and then you reach the love part of it.
True. It has to be practice. Otherwise, what's the point, right?
Okay. I was just wondering. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Practice has to be done of knowledge. It is said that for us, how much knowledge is needed for us to progress spiritually? Just a little bit. One nugget can change our life. In fact, if you spend your life on around one shloka of Bhagavad Gita, pick up anyone that you resonate with, it will transform your life. Not even one line. Not even one line. Take 1/4 of it, and that can transform your life. That is how powerful it is. But the point is that contemplation has to be backed with implementation as well. Otherwise, it's like this. You love cooking, and you keep collecting recipes. Right? And you can make the best rasmalai and rasgulla. Okay, again, I come back to rasgulla and laddu. It usually that gets people excited. So yes, you collect the recipes, but then you have never tried that recipe and tasted that rasmalai. What's the point? So knowledge is important, and it is said that I think Swami Vivekanand, his Guruji, had said that you need this much of knowledge to actually transform your life. It's like if you have to kill yourself, you need a pen. A little bit of pen is needed for us to kill ourselves. But if we have to kill somebody else, then we need a sword. So when you have to give gyan to others, then you need tons of knowledge. Scriptural references are like saints do. But if you have to really transform yourself, a little bit of knowledge is good enough. One piece of nugget can transform somebody's life. One piece of knowledge. Somebody tells you do Bhujangasana and you will not have backache. That can transform your life. There was a consultant who was called, so there was a big machinery that was set up in India. I think that machinery was set up from Germany. It came from Germany, and there was something that stopped working. That machine stopped working. So there was an engineer which was flown in from Germany to check out what's going on. He came in and he looked at the machine, and he spent about 5 or 10 minutes and fixed it. And he slapped them a bill of about $25,000. He said, for 5-minute job, you're actually slapping a bill for 25,000. He said, the job was 5 minutes, but to get to that stage of knowing where the problem is, all the study that he has done, all the expertise that he had, that this cost was for that. So similarly, if a little bit of knowledge is good enough for us, all these things that we are studying right now finally would lead us to do some daily practice on a day-to-day basis, and that is good enough for us to change our life. We don't need a tons of knowledge in that sense. But the key is to implement it. And then only we will be able to bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and the practical realization, which is also called wisdom. Okay, long-winded answer to a short question. Hopefully it brings in clarity. Okay, any more questions? Tarunji, Sam had raised hand. Sam, you there?
In the meantime, the comment in the chat window.
Sure.
Fabrice is asking, are the Gyan Marg, Hatha Yoga Marg, and Bhakti Marg mutually exclusive? Mutually exclusive, these three margs.
Not completely, because if you look at it, Gyan Yoga, Hatha Yoga, Bhakti Yoga. Yoga is the common denominator, and Yoga is the Bhakti. Yoga is that Amrit. You mix Amrit with water, the water will become Amrit. You mix Yoga with Lassi, the Lassi will become Amrit. You mix Amrit with Amrit, it is anyway Amrit. So Bhakti, Yoga is the Bhakti aspect of it. So in Gyan, if you're not mixing Bhakti, even Gyan Yoga will not fructify. So regardless, in every path you need Bhakti. Having said that, the way you approach it fundamentally is going to differ. Finally, you have to do Bhakti regardless of whichever path you have picked up. So why not do it right from the word go, is what I would think. So, but yeah, it requires a lot of intellectual conviction to do that, because if our sanskars, we have done a lot of Gyan Yoga in our previous lifetime, Aham Brahmasmi, I am God, you have contemplated on that, and then it's very difficult to take a U-turn. So keep progressing where you are. But there are people, when God bestows his grace, people just shift quickly and they don't even realize when they shifted. So let's keep on clarifying our understanding through scriptural knowledge, and then we never know when God will lead us to the path which is befitting for us, at least in this life. Yes, Sam, you had a question? Go ahead, Sam.
Radhe Radhe. I really don't understand how where the difference arises between Bhakti Yoga and Jnana Yoga, because in both of them there is the knowledge aspect, but I understand that in Bhakti Yoga our knowledge is towards God, and in Jnana Yoga the knowledge is towards the self, the soul. Is that the only difference?
No, so Bhakti Yoga, how do you do? In Bhakti, Bhakti comes from the root bhaj. That means to serve. Is a Gyan Yogi isn't thinking about the service aspect of it. When they are God themselves, they are doing the negation, right? That I'm not this, I'm not that. So fundamentally, the way you approach, when you're saying serve would be, you are introduced duality there. Who are you going to serve? So Gyan Yogi says there's no duality. Duality is a concoction of our mind. When the ignorance is dispelled, there is no duality. You are one with God and you are God. Basically, you are God and you are doing a leela that you have forgotten anyway. Gyan Yoga, it is said, it is difficult to understand, more difficult to make anybody understand, and extremely difficult to practice. Right? Lord Krishna, Arjuna had asked this question in 12th chapter, that you tell me which one you think is superior. And God has said that Klesho adhiktaras tesham avyakta sakta chetasam. He says it's exceedingly difficult for embodied souls to practice Gyan Marg. So there is a difference, right? The way you fundamentally approach it, it's different. Just because you acquire knowledge about who's the supreme entity does not mean you have become a Gyan Yogi. You are acquiring knowledge. but the way you are approaching your spirituality or your relationship with God is completely different. Gyan Marg, you're saying I'm God. Bhakti Marg, you're saying I am the. Gyan Marg, you're saying Soham. Bhakti Marg, you're saying Dasoham. It makes it completely different. Make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. But at the end, they also have to surrender to God to get the
True.
grace.
They have to
But
surrender to God.
there they should understand, right, that there is an
No, they will
entity.
not. They doesn't. I had the same question. When you have practiced this throughout your life, you only harbor the ambition of merging with God. Throughout your life, you have harbored that. Now, after surrendering to Sagun Sakar, why would all of a sudden you would have a change of heart and say, no, I want to serve you? They just want to merge. And God says, Tathastu.
Okay.
All right. Good question, though. Yes, Tarunji. Tarunji, you will have to unmute
Tarunji,
yourself.
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes, you are.
Radhe Radhe Nitinji. Okay,
Radhe.
so not a question, just I heard, I was hearing a Bhagavad from one of the very oldest Bhagavad Vachak, Dongreji, and the thing you are saying was completely matching. So basically what he was saying, I just would like to say, उनका एक हिंदी में वर्ड था ज्ञान की शोभा क्रिया से है. So what that means that whatever knowledge you are getting, do implement or do practice that in life, in real life. If we don't do that, if we keep on just getting the knowledge, increasing the knowledge without doing the practice, then it will somehow increase the ego and not the real thing which you want.
They call it
Yeah.
Jnanabhiman, right?
Yeah, and just one last thing that he meant, that do your action according to the knowledge you acquire. If you don't do this, then you will get knowledge according to the action you do. So yeah.
Very deep statement that you said. Very nice, Tarunji.
Yeah, I really like that. I note that and yeah, share that.
Very true, very true. In fact, it is said, right, that humorous story is there where it was a parrot. He said, he was told that, a hunter would come and he'll lay the trap, don't fall for it. So parrot said, all right, hunter will come, will lay the trap, I'll not fall for it. And then he kept on reciting it, hunter will come, he'll lay the trap, don't fall for it. And then finally the hunter comes, he lays the trap, he falls for it. And while he's going away with the hunter, he's saying, hunter will come, he'll lay the trap, don't fall for it. Hunter just takes him and puts him in a cage. He's saying, hunter will come, lay the trap, don't fall for it. So point is, he has memorized it, but it has not become a wisdom as yet. So similarly, if you simply keep on accruing knowledge, it is first of all called Shastra Vasana. It is also one of the pitfalls on the path of spirituality, where you are just hung up on accumulating more and more and more knowledge and FOMO, fear of missing out on some knowledge, but really not translating into the next step of implementing it and doing seva or anything of that sort. You're just content with gaining knowledge. Achha, it's good, pleasing to ears, basically. Like kano ki shuddhi, they say. Like when kathavachaks come, people enjoy it because it's nice to hear. And people, it's just nice to hear. But the point is, you have to do something with it. That is the key thing. You have to do something with it. If knowledge is not leading to action, like you said, kriya, and then action, then what's the point of accruing that knowledge? It will just lead to false pride and nothing. Basically, it matters nothing. Thank you. Okay, any more questions? It's a very interesting topic, right? We'll talk about entry barriers, if there are any, on the path of devotion, and how is it different from the path of jnana and knowledge.
Yeah, Priti has said in the comment, so be it Jnana Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, neither of them is better than the other. It is a choice one makes.
Neither of them, yes. Okay, if you ask me, but from a better sense, Jnana Yoga will lead you to not the complete understanding of God. Jnana Yoga would lead you to moksha. And moksha, merging with God, is not the complete understanding of God. It's like you are still bereft from serving God or seeing Him in His entirety. And you will definitely not experience divine love. So when God's topmost prize, the best thing that God can give to any soul is His divine love, where He Himself becomes enslaved. Bhagavatam 9.63 says, Aham bhakto paradhino. that I am actually under the sway of my devotees. What to say of my bhaktas? He say, I am under the sway of my bhaktas, devotees. That power of God, you will not be able to experience in Gyan Yoga, because all you cared for was dukh nivritti, moksha. That's it. Now, dukh nivritti is anyway a byproduct. See, a way of it is you can ask God, I am poor, end my poverty. Right? That is one way. That is moksha. One way is make me millionaire. Now, I'm just giving an analogy. Somebody will come back, why are we asking God? No. So if you become a millionaire, your poverty has already been taken care of, right? So when you get divine love, moksha is already byproduct of it. You reject moksha also. It's like moksha will be insipid in front of divine love. So in that sense, bhakti gives you the complete realization of God and the highest realization of God and the easiest path. People think something which is easy is not good. That's not the case. And people get attracted towards Gyan Yoga because they think they are intellectuals. Bhakti is for dumb people, for less intelligent people. That's not the case. I'm telling you, bhakti is for most intelligent people. You have to be really think to get to the point where it just makes sense that finally you have to do Radhe Govind, Govind Radhe. It's not easy to get to that point. If you're convinced to get to that point with proper scriptural understanding, that's it. But it takes a bit of understanding to do that. So that's how it goes. And even human psyche is such that something which is difficult, we are attracted towards it. If somebody tells you, you know what, if you simply do like this, Anulom Vilom, it will do the Nadi Shodhan and you'll reap a lot of benefits out of it. You'll say, how simple, are you crazy? You say, no, you take your arm like this, bring it from back and then join and then do it, and you'll say, now it is making sense. So something which is more difficult, we feel it is better. Not the case, usually not in this part. So bhakti gives you the complete, and plus in the age of Kali, bhakti is the only way. If you're on the Gyan Marg, good luck. Okay, good luck. It is difficult, exceedingly difficult. And you don't have to wait for chapter 12th, and we're going to touch upon that shloka where Arjuna has asked this question. I'm telling you today. But if you want to have more questions on this session, I'll be happy to take it up tomorrow as well. Because this has been one of my favorite topics, Gyan versus Bhakti, because my Bhagavad Gita journey started with Vedantis, all the Vedic scholars who are in Gyan Marg, and they will pose all kind of questions. And then I would think about it and I will turn on JK Yoga radio, and the question that they have posed, that same lecture would come the same day. And then I'll go and pose back a question to them, and that is how it. So that until you reach a conviction, complete conviction that what Maharaji Swamiji tells, no loose ends. Gyan Marg is after a while, they have no answers. And the only answer after a while would be anirvachaniya. It cannot be explained. Okay? Full stop. Anirvachaniya. Every answer becomes anirvachaniya after a while. No answers after a while. But not to belittle the path. Of course, it is a bona fide path because Lord Krishna has spoken about it. But it is not very practical because we are embodied soul, and we don't unless we are at the advanced stage of renunciation, then it is a bona fide path. And even if it is, finally you still have to do bhakti, and even after that you will still not have a complete realization of God, because divine love is something you will not get on this path. So this is how I will sum it up. Yes, Sudhakar ji.
Thank you so much. Sudhakar ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. You mentioned earlier that the criteria for the entry for the grammar Vivek and Vairagya. How is the Vairagya factor? I could not understand, or even from this chart, what we see on the screen, how this Vairagya factor is, what do you call the entity? I'm not able to understand. If you can explain.
This is just at a high level, macro level. Vairagya is basically, if you look at it, Vairagya is dispassion, that you understand, you develop detachment. It's like everything that gets normal people excited, looking at something, a big house, a car, or, getting overly attached with relationships and all, you have developed a kind of a detachment towards that. You understand that is temporary. You understand this is anitya. This is not what is going to give satisfaction or the bliss my soul is craving. So you are always operating from that knowledge all the times. That is called Vairagya. Right? Vairagya means you have a dispassion towards it. You look at these kind of things like a vegetarian would look at a fish market. You're just not interested. That is called Vairagya. We don't have that. We have Vairagya. It is called Shamshan Vairagya. We get Shamshan Vairagya. When you go out, when somebody dies and you go to their last rites, our mind develops Vairagya at that point. Oh, what are we thinking about, problems and getting attached to finally our journey is going to end like this. We have that Vairagya, but it is called Shamshan Vairagya. Or when we go to hospital, they say if you don't develop enough Vairagya in your life, you are excessively obsessed with life, go to a Shamshan, mortuary, or a hospital, you will start developing Vairagya. So there also we develop that, but then after a while we get carried away in our life again. In fact, the same Vairagya was developed by Sugriv also. When Bali was killed and Lord Ram told him to go and take care of Kishkinda, now you are the new king. He said, what am I going to do with becoming a king? My brother is killed. Just take me along with you. I'll help you find Mother Sita and, work with you as your sevak and all that stuff. He started rambling. And Ram told him, Mitra, friend, this is Kshanik Vairagya. It is momentary Vairagya that you are experiencing. You go back, and then the same thing happened. After 3 months, he was enjoying the dance and everything until Lakshman had to come and remind him, hey, you had, promised to help Lord Ram. So that is Vairagya. It happens to us, but we are not able to sustain it, and we get carried away in our life again. And that is the power of Maya.
Yes, but this Vairagya also, correct me from my understanding, is coming or is a result of the knowledge and wisdom, right? It is not that Vairagya is just a starting point of the entry. When you say the entry to the Jnana Yoga, that's what from that point I'm trying to ask this question. When we say entry, so Vairagya, yes, as all you explained, is the result of the knowledge and his wisdom, right? For example, Parikshit Maharaj, he at the end comes to know the incident, and then he thinks that he has only 7 days. That's where he realized, right? So he has experience, and then he has the knowledge, and then he came to that Vairagya state for knowing the God.
So you're saying cause and effect relationship. So maybe what it means is that you have already done a lot of contemplation on this in your past lifetimes where you are not starting again. And that is where you are eligible for Gyan Marg, right? Maybe in your previous lifetimes, you have already developed this passion. There are so many people, they are completely disinterested in the world right from the word go. So maybe that's what it means. Of course, with knowledge only Vairagya would come, right? It will not sprout all by itself unless you have done bhakti or something like that, right? But yeah, I get your point. With knowledge only you will get Vairagya, right? That's fine. But I think what it's saying is that might be that you have already dug that well in this direction, in the path of knowledge in your past lifetimes. And if you are at that stage, then this is a suitable path for you, otherwise not. And tomorrow, by the way, I'm going to talk about bhakti. That will also give you some more. So just hold on until tomorrow's session. We'll talk a little bit more about Vairagya, how this manifests on the path of bhakti as well. So we'll talk more about that as well. But I got your question. That means you would have done that contemplation probably in your previous life, or you're born with that kind of a detachment to a lot of things in life, which we get excessively obsessed with. Good question. Thank you, Sudhakarji. Yes, Pratyusha, new hand I see. Go ahead.
Hi, sir. Hello, Radhe, everyone. Sir, I feel that first my question is, what kind of text do these Gyan yogis read? That is my first question. Text.
The scriptures only, Vedant Sutra. If you look at it, Vedant Sutra only. So, but the focus basically, if you look at, they never get to Bhagavatam. They will reject Bhagavatam. Okay. So anything, they will reject Narad Bhakti Darshan. Anything that talks about devotion, and even in Bhagavad Gita, the verses which are related to the devotional aspect, they are interpreted differently. In fact, in one of the commentaries, I won't name the author there, he had said that this I don't agree, this should mean this. So point is, because they are so deep into that thing, they will selectively pick up that part only and not even discuss or talk about it. You speak to any Gyan Yogi and say, have you gone to Bhagavatam? They'll say, why do we need to? Especially you talk about devotional aspect of it. They'll say no. Yeah. But Vedanta usually is what they refer to, which is written by, and Shankaracharya's Bhashya on that is what they refer to.
Okay. So also, like, I was just thinking about the Gyan Marg and the things that you've taken previous classes. Like in the Gyan Marg, I think people generally get the, you've said about the train or the far away, you just see the
Yes.
light.
Yes.
So when that happens, I think they feel that, yeah, that's it, they got it. So then I don't think after and that will happen only when you have vairagya. So if you have vairagya and you have received that, you have seen that, then I don't think they want to get involved, because bhakti is all about involvement. So then they say, I have received it, I know that this is it, so I don't want to go there. So I think that is where this thing is coming from.
True, very true. Something that you have done across so many lifetimes, and that is your truth, right? You don't want to go anything further than that. It is so deeply entrenched in you. That is how I understood it as well. Yeah. But ironically, you know what? Finally, we need God's grace. And even in Gyanmarg, even to get moksha, you need God's grace. And God's grace can only come through a Sagun Sakar Swarup. Nirakar, Nirgun, God cannot grace. So finally, they have to surrender to Sagun Sakar only, even to get moksha. That is how it goes, which is very interesting. You can do self-realization on your self-effort. But for you to conquer Maya completely, the Mahat and Ahankar Tattva, you need to surrender to God. Sagun Sakar God, and then only you conquer those elements as well. And even to attain moksha, you need to do that. Bhakti finally. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Read them first, or
So we have a few more minutes. I think we don't have a hard stop today, right?
yeah, yes, we are.
Yeah, we can
Okay.
probably do 5 more because it's an interesting conversation. We can take all the hands and then we'll move to our devotional segment.
In the
That
meantime, there are comments. Can I take them, please, first?
And feedback tracker as well. Please fill it out if you have any more questions that we could not discuss today. Please put the feedback tracker and we can take it out. And the Bhakti app, we wanted to talk about that as well, right? So let's take maybe a couple of hands and then we'll talk about the announcements as well. Feedback tracker.
Shilamma ji says it is said that the two children of Bhakti are Gyan and Vairagya.
Yes,
If you
Shilamma, we will talk
Bhakti-
about it tomorrow. We
Okay.
will bring both the kids along with their mom tomorrow.
And so Sheila ji is asking, Nitin ji, please explain more about Soham Dasoham. Dasoham. If you
Soham,
can.
Dasoham, Soham means I am that. Okay, you are God, basically. That's what they contemplate on Soham. So Bhakt says Dasoham. He said Da, I will prefix Da before that. Da Soham. Then they say no, Sada Soham. So Gyani says, no, I'm not going to give up just like that. Sada Soham, always Soham. And then Bhakt says, Daso Dasoham. He said, no, I'm Das, Das. So that competition goes on. So point here is in Gyanmar, you contemplate differently. You say you are God only. But the question, fundamental question is, if you are God, how did you come under the illusion of Maya? That means Maya is more powerful than you. You cannot come under ignorance. And then if you are God, can you show your cosmic form? That cosmic form is not when you get angry. Generally, can you show cosmic form like Krishna was able to do? So there are a lot of ends that people are not able to, it's like philosophically, it doesn't make sense kind of a deal. You are God. And the philosophy Jeev Brahma Maya that we have spoken about in great detail, this topic, that basically encapsulates the entire philosophy of Maharajji. So Achintya Bheda Bhed Sambandh is what we have with God, and that doesn't leave any loose ends at all. At least theoretically, you'll be able to understand that very clearly.
Thank you so much, Nitin bhai. Sandhya, please go ahead.
Actually, there is a question from Monica ji that she wanted me to read out. So first I'll read that out.
Sure.
She says that there are so many Gyan Margis, they will be deprived of Premanand, that is staying with Krishna and being part of his Leelas, his love, everything. Is it because of their past karma? Also on this path, I know we are chosen by Krishna, that is why we are here. So why didn't Gyan Margis get this opportunity?
Get this, which opportunity?
To follow Premanand Marg, like why are they not getting the logic that we have received? I guess that's what
I don't
she's
know.
asking.
I don't know, to be honest. See, even Gyan Margis, they say some Brahmanandis who might have had the sprout of devotion in one of their lifetimes and Krishna chooses to bestow his grace upon them, they might get diverted to the Premanand path. But other than that, most of the Gyan Margis, they won't. Even though it sounds very logical, so blissful, this journey itself is so blissful, right? Devotion to Krishna, Radha. Still, they choose the nearest path, sitting idle, and that's about it. I don't know why, but maybe their past sanskars, maybe that is the practice they have done for most part of their previous lifetimes. That is why it comes naturally to them. So it's okay. I mean, once you start digging a well, you keep digging the same well, right? That's where your odds of getting water would increase. But yeah, you should feel fortunate that Krishna has taken control over you, and Krishna Bhakti is very durlabh. If some kind of hook is built in Krishna, right, you are extremely fortunate, I'm telling you. It's very durlabh bhakti. So getting to do that is a privilege actually, and not many get to do that. So we should just make the most of it. But yeah, variety is the spice of life. So different people get attracted to different things. We should feel fortunate that we are in Krishna Bhakti.
And actually, that being said, someone who is extremely detached to start with, right from the word go, can actually have both the options, right, of being a karm sannyasi or being a Gyan yogi. And that's where
They can.
his fortune, grace comes into the picture, that, right? That
Swamiji, he was very disinterested in, he had a very advanced level of detachment even in through his childhood. If you hear
Childhood.
some of his stories, and then he has gone through these Hatha Yoga and all that stuff. He used to practice it when he was in school. Hatha Yoga and advanced techniques of all this stuff he has been through. And still he ended up in the path of bhakti. First ISKCON, and then after that with Maharajji, where his journey took off to another level altogether, because he came to know that in ISKCON they would talk about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and somebody said that he's an avatar of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when he went there, it was confirmed. He has had his experience. I'm not going to get into that today. But and after that, his journey took off. So he has gone through all these Hatha Yoga and all those things that we are talking about, Kundalini and everything. And so basically we have a life example in front of us that who has gone through all the paths and then finally settled down on bhakti, because that is the thing, ultimate thing. Yes, Ajit ji. We have a
Yeah, Radhe Radhe.
Yes,
हाँ,
Ajit.
एक्चुअली थोड़ा पढ़ो परंतु बार बार पढ़ो. That is the key word for the bhakti. If you interpret bhakti, and if you see this theory in worldly things, our children are naturally getting detached from the parents. I don't know.
It's a good thing.
Even though they are having the knowledge that they are the real parents and the others are step uncle, step parents, you can say, but they are not attached to their parents.
Are we attached to our spiritual parents or not? First of all, I think we should ask that question to us.
So this is the query answer to the Monica's question, that why knowledge is required. Knowledge is for that who is your true parents. First that is required, and then you can have the bhakti and devotion or everything.
Yeah.
Similarly, in the couple, when they get married, arranged marriage, they are tied with the unknown persons. So how they develop the love for each other, and that is the reason they are getting divorce also very soon, which was not there in old days. Earlier days was not there. Even nowadays, love marriage is also getting divorced. So your theory is to be checked, that what is the lacuna in this. When we see the
What is the
worldly things,
lacuna? I still did not get you. What is the lacuna you are trying to find in this whole thing? Knowledge
lacuna
leads.
is the theory that knowledge leads to wisdom, wisdom leads to love and prem.
No,
Ultimate
you
thing,
are mixing the concept.
finding.
Let me tell you there. Knowledge leads to love. Okay.
Yeah.
However, the material love you cannot equate with that love, right? Knowledge leads to love. There's no lacuna in that at all. The moment a girl is, there were two guys who were looking at that girl, and that girl thought, what kind of people are there? They're ogling at me. So she had a revulsion towards those people, until her friend told, you know why, this guy is the one your parents have been talking to, and you could have a possible alliance. And all of a sudden her sentiments change. Now, whether it is love or not, but her sentiments became favorable. So let's limit it to that. Our knowledge leads to favorable sentiments towards somebody. Now, when we talk about love, the worldly love is transactional. You scratch my back and I'll scratch yours. Okay. It is purely transactional. And that is where, when your self-interest starts getting harmed, the relationship crumbles, whether it is a love marriage or an arranged marriage. So there's no lacuna in it. It's not love, actually. Love is called giving, where your focus is on giving, regardless of
I agree.
expectation.
I agree.
Yeah.
This is okay. But in case of parents and child, where is the lacuna? There is
In case
no
of parent and child, then
clash.
parents have, see, the children are forgetting. What is the question? The children are forgetting about who their parents are, or what's going on there?
No, they are not having love and affection to their parents. They
Okay.
consider their enemy, rather other way around.
Okay, so what is the lacuna there? Maybe they have their own value system around what is important for them.
No, that is what it's to be analyzed.
What is to be analyzed? It's their value and belief system. What is important for them in life, right? We need to give them a strong foundation and hope that they understand it. There's no lacuna at all. It's the lack of their appreciation for what they have and what they should value, which is resulting in that. Not everybody does that. Some kids are very fond and attached to their parents. Some are not only attached in the right way, they are very responsible, and some are not. It boils down to the individual's choice and their value system at that point. Nothing to do with the knowledge aspect of it. At least that is how I see that, right?
Okay.
See, the raindrop is a raindrop, right? Depending upon the vessel in which it is falling, it'll have different manifestations. If it's falling on an oyster, it may become a pearl. If it's falling on mud, it may become that keychard, as they say. If it is falling on cactus, it will become a thorn. So we don't know. And everybody is coming with their own sanskars. In fact, it is a good spot to be in. If kids are not, doing that, then it gives you another reason to develop detachment from the world. Why do we have that expectation that they should respect us and always be listening to us? If it is not happening, they are their own individuals, and it's an opportunity for us to develop detachment from the world, as opposed to getting stressed out about that. We can't control them anyways.
That is okay, but we feel that we are avoiding our responsibility.
No, we can do that
away
to the best of our ability, but getting attached to the outcome that they should listen to us and they should be the next Shravan Kumar, that is our problem, not their. They're individual. They have come through us. They did not sign a contract that they're going to respect us for the rest of their life and take care of us when we grow old and stuff like that. If they do that, we are fortunate. If they don't do it, then what? Are we going to waste our life with that expectation and getting stressed out over that fact? That is something we have to think about. They're individuals, right?
Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Okay, Shwetaji, maybe last question before we move to our devotional segment.
Oh, sorry. I have one more question. My question was, if Gyani believes in Advait principle, he thinks he is Brahma,
Right.
then who does he love? And does he prescribe to Dvait principle in the end, after he acquires knowledge and wisdom? So in the end, he accepts Dvait as Advait. So, right, he has to, if he has to love, right? He loves just himself.
I don't know. That is an important thing. So even a Gyani, when they go to temple, I've seen them reciting the prayer, Twameva Mata Cha Pita Twameva Twameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Twameva. So ideally they should be saying Swameva Mata Cha Pita Swameva, Swameva Bandhu Cha Sakha Swameva. I don't know. So it's a very complicated khichdi. That is, they are practicing Dvait also and Advait also, and in some cases Advait, in some cases Dvait. So it's all over the place. I don't understand.
But
Do we understand
Shankaracharya, he
about it?
accepted finally, right? That's what Maharaj Ji said, that he accepted Bhakti Yoga in the end, and he went on Bhakti Marg, according to Maharaj Ji.
Very few people, they get graced with that. Other will continue on this path. So they do Dvait and Advait both. I don't know. You can ask a Gyani. To be honest, I've never understood what they practice. Okay, they will talk about Dvait and then they'll talk about Advait.
Well, I won't scratch my head over it then. Thank you.
That's what we focus on, our devotion, and that's about it. It's very confusing. That's why I'm saying
Indeed,
They are not
indeed.
able to articulate what they are doing, to be honest. Okay.
True. It leaves you in confusion actually.
Confusion, and I think we lose time for devotion if we keep
True.
thinking about that. So
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
thank you, Radhe Radhe. Okay, Manisha ji, you wanted to sing? Are we moving to the devotional segment then? So thank you, very engaging discussion. Please fill out the feedback tracker if there are some more questions you want to take on this topic. But let's move on to our next segment because we've had a pretty good discussion and we had a couple of entries. I think Sandhya and Prabhat are going to sing a duet. And Manisha ji, are you going to sing or you had a question?
Nitinji, Shan ji had hand raised. Can we take him? Shan ji had his hand raised.
Yes, Shanji, go ahead. Manisha ji,
Can
go
we-
ahead, please, and Shanji after that.
Shan ji,
Yeah,
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Sorry, yeah. Misha ji, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe.
I think God made his different forms for the bhakts only so that according to their interest, they can attain God through Bhakti Marg or through doing Hatha Yoga or Gyan Marg, anything.
He's given us choice for sure, yeah. All are bona fide path. Yeah, very true. We spoke about it. We are saying what is more practical in the age of Kali and which is an easier path and which is the path where you are building up practices which will invoke God's grace right from the word go. That's what we're talking about here. All are bona fide path. Yes, Shanji, you wanted to add something?
Shan
Yes,
ji,
Radhe Radhe, Nitin Sahab,
Good
and
to
then
see
Radhe Radhe to all the divine soul. As often I try to listen to the JK Yoga programs, you and Dr. Satya and Ananda Ji, the more I learn about this, I think that little I know, I'm feel like more ignorant because the vastness of Hinduism, it seems like an onion. You can try peel it enough to get to the inside. And the few times I'm coming to listen to you, I'm getting something new, and I feel like I'm going down as opposed to up.
No. You don't have to think that way. So please be regular. We all are work in progress and we get the opportunity to revise it daily. And maybe you're coming in after a while, so it might be overwhelming for you, but please keep coming in and we will make sure that it becomes second nature to you what we talk about. So nothing of that sort. It's just the
And
consistency is the key. That's where, if you keep on revising it, then you will not feel overwhelmed with this knowledge.
my sincere apologies.
No worries.
I think health-wise has been stopping me. So by the time sometimes I'm in New York at time, I can't make it to 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I
So
can imagine. But yeah, try as best as you can. And we put the recordings as well. So you can always
yes,
catch up. And feel free to text me or put it in the feedback tracker. I'll be more than happy to have an offline call with you as well. Whenever you have any questions.
absolutely, Sab, and thanks again, and I
Thank you.
appreciate all of this because
Thank you.
and the other spectrum of it is that I'm trying to elevate myself and try to get my surroundings involved in this too, because
Sure.
it is the path to the righteousness. Again, thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Shalini ji, if you're there, I saw your name. You had put it in the feedback tracker, maybe for recitation. So if you are there, you're welcome to raise your hand and come forward. But let's get started with our devotional segment now, which we do towards the end. Our discussion went for 15 more minutes, but we can move to our devotional segment now. So Prabhat and Sandhya, you can go, and then we see two more hands. Pratyusha is going to sing and Payal ji is going to sing as well. So 3, 1 duet, and then 2 more hands. Go ahead, please. I see similar backgrounds and more punk as well. Nice.
Okay, just to give a little bit of background. So this is, as you can see, the background is Maharas. So this is a song on Maharas, full of Tattva Gyan. And let's just go through it. And at the end, maybe if we have something to say, we can say.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. कान्हा रे थोड़ा सा प्यार दे, चरणों में बैठा के तार दे।
ओ गोरी घूंघट उभार दे, प्रेम की भिक्षा झोली में डाल दे।
प्रेम गली में आके गुजरिया, भूल गई रे घर की डगरिया। जब तक साधन तन मन जीवन, सब तुझे अर्पण प्यारे सावरिया।
प्रेम का तुमने रंग ऐसा डाला, बंधन में बंध गया बांधने वाला। कौन रमापति कैसा ईश्वर, मैं तो हूँ गोकुल का ग्वाला।
ग्वाला रे थोड़ा सा प्यार दे, ग्वालिन का जीवन सवार दे।
आत्मा परमात्मा के मिलन का मधुरास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
त्रिभुवन का स्वामी भक्तों का दास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
कृष्णा कमल है, राधा सुवास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
इसके अवलोकन की युग युग को प्यास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
कान्हा रे थोड़ा सा प्यार दे, चरणों में बैठा के तार दे।
तू झूठा वचन तेरे झूठे, मुस्का के भोली राधा को लूटे।
मैं भी हूँ सच्चा वचन मेरे सच्चे, प्रीत मेरी पक्की तुम्हारे मन कच्चे।
जैसे तू रखे वैसे रहूंगी, दूंगी परीक्षा पीड़ सहूंगी। स्वर्गों के सुख भी मीठे ना लागे, तू मिल जाए तो मोक्ष नहीं मांगे।
कान्हा रे थोड़ा सा प्यार दे, चरणों में बैठा के तार दे।
सृष्टि के कण कण में इसका आभास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
तारों में नर्तन, फूलों में उल्लास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
मुरली की प्रतिध्वनि दिशाओं के पास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है।
आध्यात्मिक चेतना का सब में विकास है, यही महारास है, यही महारास है। महारास महारास
महारास महारास।
राधे राधे।
राधे राधे।
Hey Prabhat and Sandhya, very nice. You conceived this and with the same background, and you rehearsed one after another. So very nice, commendable. Thank you so much in bringing this Maharaj song to all of us and to our session as well. Thank you so much. Loved it. This is our brother sister duo, by the way, for those of you who don't know that. So good job. Thank you. Okay, so yes, Shalini ji, I think you had put in your request. So I think a couple of days back as well. So you can go next, and then Pratyusha, and then Payal ji, if you can follow that order.
Sure.
Shalini ji, please.
Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, everyone. So I'm just gonna, sing a few lines of a bhajan. It goes like this. Pibare Ram Rasam Rasani, Pibare Ram Rasam, Pibare Ram Rasam Rasani, Pibare Ram Rasam. जन्म मरण भय सुख विदूरम, जन्म मरण भय सुख विदूरम, सकल शास्त्र निगमाम सारम, सकल शास्त्र निगमाम सारम, पिबरे राम रसम रसने, पिबरे राम रसम। शुद्ध परम हंस असरम गीतम, शुद्ध परमहंस असरम गीतम सुख सौनक कौशिक मुख पीतम सुख सौनक कौशिक मुख पीतम पिबरे राम रसम रसने पिबरे राम रसम पिबरे राम रसम रसने पिबरे राम रसम. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Shalini ji. Radhe Radhe. Very nice. And I hope I got your feedback only, right? You only had put in the feedback, right?
Yes, I did actually. Yeah, I mean, I said that I can volunteer for some time, and yes. So
Very nice. Thank you so much.
thank you so much for lovely, beautiful lessons. I'm learning a lot, and it's helping me in my kind of self-realization and getting to the next level or next path.
That's so heartening to know. That's the whole idea of
Yes,
doing the seva. And please keep coming to our session, and you should sing
Yes,
more.
yes.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Pratyusha, next is you, and then Payalji. Go ahead, please.
So, a little bit background. I was a Shiva devotee since childhood, and then I came across Bhagavad Gita, and I fell in love head over heels with Krishna Bhagwan. So then, when I finished the Bhagavad Gita, that's when I wrote this poem. So this is my original song.
Okay, it's your creation.
Oh.
You composed it as well.
Yes.
Go ahead.
तेरे बारे में मैं क्या बताऊं रे कृष्णा, तेरे आराध्य का ही रूप है कृष्णा. तूने श्रद्धा जगाया मेरे इस दिल में, तेरे होने का एहसास दिलाया रे कृष्णा. तूने ही चलाया है तेरी लीलाओं कृष्णा, सोचूं तुझे अब दिन रात है कृष्णा. चित चोर है बनकर चुराया इस मन को, अब तू ही मेरा शंभू, तू ही मेरा कृष्णा. ना है कर्म की चिंता, ना है फल की मैं इच्छो, सब में दिखता है अब तो तू ही रे कृष्णा. कर पाऊं मैं सेवा तुझको मन में बसा कर, हो गुणगान तेरी ही महिमाओ कृष्णा. मेरे दिल में तो पहले से शंभू बसे हैं, डेरा तूने है अपना बनाया रे कृष्णा. तेरे बारे में मैं क्या बताऊं रे कृष्णा, तेरे आराध्य का ही रूप है कृष्णा. तूने श्रद्धा जगाया मेरे इस दिल में, तेरे होने का एहसास दिलाया रे कृष्णा.
Very nice, Pratyusha. I love the line, Mere Aradhe Hi Tu Hai Krishna, right? So you've understood the Tattva Gyan around it, and don't get the buddhi at all around it. Beautiful. Very nice composition, and thank you for sharing it with us. It was, I think, very straight from the heart, right? That come based on your realization on, right? Yeah, you are also one of the lucky souls, I must say that. Like Krishna Bhakti is Durlabh, so he's captured and made it very seamless for you, right? Very nice. Always a pleasure to hear from you, Pratyusha. Loved it. All right, Payalji, go ahead.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I got the platform. I'm so thankful. I get to learn. I got to sing. So everything's lovely, lovely people.
Yeah, we have a wonderful group for sure. Kavita, you need to get inspired from another Kavita now. It's long overdue now. Okay. Yes, Payalji. Shanji, you wanted to sing as well? Payalji, maybe we can have towards the end then. Shanji, are you going to sing or are you going to ask something? Because you're only having singing now.
I think I made a mistake. Sorry, Charles.
Okay, no worries. Yes, Payalji, go ahead. All yours then. You are the last one for the day. Yes. Go ahead,
Thank you
please.
so much, Nitinji. Radhe Radhe, everyone. पूछते हो कैसे, पूछते हो कैसे चले आएंगे मुरारी, पूछते हो कैसे चले आएंगे मुरारी, कौन सी सुनाए धुन लगे उन्हें प्यारी, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे, पूछते हो कैसे चले आएंगे मुरारी, कौन सी सुनाए धुन लगे उन्हें प्यारी, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे, कण कण में बसे गोपाला, वृंदावन का आनंद लाला, कण कण में बसे गोपाला, वृंदावन का आनंद लाला, राधा के प्रेम में बंधा है इस जग का पालनहारा, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, बोल राधे, चले आएंगे मुरारी, बोल राधे. Thank you so much, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you so much, Payalji. Very nice. Beautifully sung. Loved it. And thank you for singing after a while today. So we missed your
Thank you
singing.
for the opportunity. Thank you so much, Nitinji.
Very nice. So with that, we come to the end of our sessions. Maybe I can end it with a share that आदि में ना होती जो राधे की रकार, आदि में ना होती जो राधे की रकार, तो भाई राधे श्याम भी आधे श्याम रह जाते. Swamiji's here. You can say that. Thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And don't forget, day after is our quiz day. And this time, no excuses, Kavita. You have to be in top 10, okay, like you always do. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for your wonderful participation. We will talk about the criteria for the marg of bhakti, or the path of devotion. Tomorrow we'll get deeper into that concept as well. So thank you. Radhe Radhe, and good night, good day from my side.